Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I finally made it. Yes, I know I'm late, but I finally made it. I've been stressed out all day. I just about wanted to just call it a night, but then I gathered all my strength and said, all right, I'll try to stream some. Not that the 51.8 degree basement is helping to convince me that I've made a wise decision, but at least I have my small space heater on right now. I also did at least remember to take the trash out and turn the dinosaur on. So, and I got salt from Lowe's today, so come icy glaze in the morning, I can salt my driveway. Now, if just the postman had marked on the slip that got put in my mailbox exactly why he left me a slip instead of the package, because I don't know. He forgot to check any of the boxes. So, hopefully it's just signature required. Anyways, let's see here. Alright, we got Greg Hrutke of Hrutke Mods. Hi, Greg. We have SadMac356 pinned under a cat. Hi, SadMac. And hi, cat. Greg has a dog between his legs. Oh. Let's see here. Yep. Clock is getting... Yeah, no, I was upstairs. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see here. Yes, I was late to my own stream, yes. Yeah, that's why we call it just in time around here. And let's see here. We have Hardware Hacker. Hi, Hardware Hacker. We have... Let's see here... Retro Tech Chris. Hi, Chris. Welcome. All right, let's see here. We have the coffee goal is still ongoing. Links are in the video description. And I think we will, before we can do anything Dawsimba related, assuming we even get that far tonight, we do have to take care of the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
Who comes up with these titles indeed? Yes. We have a couple packages that have come in since last time I streamed. In fact, I think they all came in after Thanksgiving. All right, this first package comes to us from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I finally broke down on Cyber Monday and bought one of those ceramic box opener things. So, granted, Amazon was like, here, we'll ship it to you for free with Prime benefits, but how about a shipping date that's next week? Because lots of people bought things. So I was like, okay, well, I guess so. So anyways, hopefully I'll have a much safer box opening knife soon in case anyone's been cringing every time I use a much sharper knife. And we have a box inside of a box. And I'm kind of afraid as to what might actually be in here because I don't think that's what I ordered there. Obviously my... Hardware Hacker did end up getting that in Enterprise. Nice. Yeah, I didn't buy much for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but I did order one of those ceramic box openers. Oh, yeah! Here we go. Okay. And we have Jesse, i8386SX. Hi, Jesse. And what do we have here? We have... Not that I didn't already have one of them, but it has a fault. I have another Apple Trident card. So when you all joke about Apple Trident cards, they actually did make one. Although, it doesn't have a Trident chipset on it. I think it was a nickname for the card. Anyways, this one showed up on eBay. I really didn't want to buy a second one, but the first one I have has a fault, and the eBay seller wanted not a lot of money for it. And I did my analysis and realized why buy one when you can buy two at twice the price. So anyways, an Apple Trident card. Chris says, I didn't buy anything for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, though I think the wife and kids made up for it. I don't remember what they actually called this card. Because the thing is, you also see these cards on eBay and other places, and they are not marked Trident. So I think this is an early production version of whatever card this actually is. I think Apple renamed it. Which is why I think that's a development nickname, and it would not surprise me if Trident Microsystems sent a little friendly letter to Apple's legal team. That might explain why I've only seen a small number of these that actually have the Trident branding on it. Yeah. All right, I think we got Gutbomb in the chat. Hi, Gutbomb. And let's see here. I saw Socket Wrench. Hi, Socket Wrench. I bought the Socket Wrench, bought some printer parts. Gutbomb says, yo, Apple Trident. Yeah, I only bought a few small things for Cyber Monday. Oh, and I guess I did subscribe to Hulu. I broke down and subscribed to Hulu for $4.99 a month because when we were at the beach last time, the TV in the condo we were at, or resort we were at, was signed into Hulu, and we watched seasons 1 through 4 of Only Murders in the Building. And I quite honestly would like to watch season 5. So I was like, okay, $4.99 deal. Anyways, all right, so we got an Apple Trident card. What lovely fun. All right, this next item comes to us with a yellow shipping label for some reason from an eBay seller in South Carolina. In fact, it looks like could be one of these cities in South Carolina that might have a large college. So we'll just say hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in South Carolina, or as my dad calls it, South Kakalaki. So, yes. Although I think more than just my dad call it South Kakalaki. Anyways, what we have here is another item that, well, another item that was shipped in priority mail packaging. Yay. With eBay tape. Double yay. You will notice a trend with some of these items. You might notice another trend with some of these other items. Alright, this is the item that probably convinced me the most to still have the stream so I could open it tonight and it not wait yet more days. We may actually test a few of the potential regrets tonight. This is probably one of them that we might actually be able to test sooner rather than later, because I think Oh, no, maybe not. I might have taken the video cable upstairs with the Super Nintendo. Oh, never mind. And I might have just given away what this might be. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Justin, for your order. Bizarre. We have Bizarre's Collectibles. Alright, well, since you managed to put a card in my order, well, I guess now everyone's gonna know, how bizarre or normal this is. Yeah, Chris says, how bizarre. Alright, well, I think I've probably just, done the world's worst job of adding drama here. But we have a power adapter. I do have to say, it is nicely bagged. We have a third-party game controller, Retrobit brand. I've got high standards for my game controllers, so, and because that one says Retrobit, it's gonna have to perform. And because if any of you all were watching my stream last Monday, I believe it was, you all will know that I tried to repair a Nintendo 64, and I ran into a little bit of trouble repairing it. So I did what one does after trying to repair something unsuccessfully. Although, I am not going to spoil it in case you'd like to go check out the live stream. Needless to say, the only clue I'm going to give you... Harder Hacker says you bought another. Yes, because of the trouble I ran into, I bought another Nintendo 64. And unfortunately, I believe I actually did take the AV cable upstairs, and I forgot to bring it downstairs, so I may have to... I'm looking to see if, by chance, any of these other cables floating around here are... because I've got the PlayStation AV cable... That's a VGA cable, and that's actually a Molex power adapter. Yeah, I must have taken it upstairs. So we can't test this right at this moment, but we have an NES. It looks to be in fairly clean shape. It, at least on the outside, is the an NUS 001 USA. So far so good. It does have the memory expansion, so that is a plus. Richard Tech Chris says, to my compact friends, I got 2 open flops in the mail today. Awesome. Well, Sad Mac, we will have to try it to see. Anyways, I don't have the AV adapter downstairs. I took it upstairs with the SNES. So, we'll set this aside. Once I've opened the rest of the packages, then maybe we'll take a short recess while I go upstairs to go grab the adapter. Harder Hacker says, you pulled a 2 sigh. Yes. Actually, fun fact. One of my brothers had a car that we affectionately called Red Door because it had a red door on it. So, yeah. It was a green car with a red door. I'll spare the details on how it got the red door. I wouldn't want to embarrass my brother or anything like that. Hi, Bruce, welcome. All right, we'll set this to the side. And by to the side, I mean somewhere where I will not knock it over and make it possibly require actual repairs. So this next item comes to us from a state that's 2-letter abbreviation begins with N. And unfortunately, their printer needs repair. I cannot read the second letter. I'm presuming it's probably New Jersey, because I think it's probably New Jersey, but I guess it could be New Hampshire. I doubt it's New Mexico. Anyways, so, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in one of those states that begins with new. That has a Hillsborough in it. Yeah. I cannot read the rest of the state, so I'm presuming it's probably New Jersey. Harder Hacker says put an AirTag on it so you don't lose it. I don't think it's New York. I can see enough of the second letter to believe that I don't think it's New York, which is also why I'm not. I think it's New Jersey and not New Hampshire. Got bombed. The other reason why I think it's New Jersey is the zip code. The zip code is definitely a northeastern state. That's also why I don't think it's New Mexico. We have... actually, this was an Amazon order, but that's okay. We have a Genesis 2 power adapter. I guess I did buy this on Cyber Monday or something like that. So, yeah, let's see what else is in the pallet packages. Oh, we might be able to test more than one thing. Yeah, I got bombed. The zip code starts with a 0. Which is why I think it's probably New Jersey. Yeah, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. That's for sure, Chris. Except, Jenna don't when you don't have the power adapter and video cable. So this next item comes to us from an eBay seller in Colorado. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Colorado. I'm hoping this is what I think it is, because then we might be able to see if the Sega slogan is true. Because I did something slightly stupid. Yep, this is exactly what I thought it was. So, I somehow managed to forget that I had ordered this on eBay. And I didn't get this canceled in time. So, yes, from the eBay seller in Colorado, I ordered an AV cable and power adapter, and then somehow completely forgot that I did it, although this power adapter is so light, I might actually use the one from Amazon. If I had a home intruder, this is not a defensible, and this was the thing in my hand, I don't have a defensible position. This thing is like almost lighter than an AirTag. It's not quite that bad. But we do have a AV cable, which actually does seem to be somewhat decently constructed. But anyway, so actually we might be able to test my Genesis tonight too. What do you know? I bought it at VCF East in April. So let's see here. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 9 little months. For me to remember to order. Well, I guess technically 8 because I ordered them last month. But anyways. Harder Hacker was at VCF East. Well, I was at VCF East. And we might have met. I don't know. Yeah, I was actually an exhibitor. I saw so many people there, though, I couldn't actually tell you if we actually did meet. Yeah, you were there, Chris. At least, physically. Alright, this next item comes to us from Kentucky. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Kentucky. We are, kind of getting back into December here. Yeah. Chris says, oh, yes, I dragged that LaserJet 5L home. Yes, you did. you were at least physically present enough to get a LaserJet 5L home. Although I could tell you, you were very tired. I don't remember what you were working on, but I know you were working on something. You always are. All right, we have an IBM floppy controller because the eBay seller wanted a ridiculously low price for it, so I bought an IBM floppy controller. Did I mention that I have a couple of IBM PC? Well, I have one IBM PC, I think 2 IBM XTs, and enough parts. I'm hoping to put 2 IBM portable PCs back together. Yeah, so I think it was like it was a cheap controller card. Ah, Chris says, oh yeah, that's when my year started to get busy and has not stopped. All right, and I think the last item in Wheel of Regrets for tonight comes to us from okay, this one's definitely an eBay seller from New York State. Zip code does start with 1, so this one's definitely New York State. Also, their printer worked. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in New York. We have a trick package. I'm kind of, actually, when I saw this box in my mailbox, yes, I am at exactly 900 subs. And I will let you know that the eBay count has been waffling between 899 and 900 for like the past 5 days. But yeah, I do have the screenshot on my phone. Yes, I'm at exactly 900 subs. Thank you all. I did forget. I meant to bring that up. So thank you for reminding me, Chris, without knowing you were reminding me. Thank you to getting me to 900 subs. I couldn't have done it without you all. Let's see if we can't get me over to 1,000 because I'm so close now. And then I will tell you what's in this joystick box. Unfortunately, it is not this joystick. I possibly might be wishing after I open this that it was that joystick because that looks more fun than the item inside of this box. I will give you all a moment to guess. Socket Wrench says opens OpenSCAD, and makes her laptop melt. Chris says, I'm at 7,999 followers on X. Here in good company. Yeah, it's like that. Hovering at a number. Oh yeah, hardware hacker. Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. When you start doing live streams or publishing videos, it'll help. But folks, you can go check out Hardware Hacker. He's trying to set his channel up. And now, I will let you all feast on what is actually in this box. If anyone wants to try to find this joystick online, then, yeah, I'd be curious to know what this actually is. Just takes one good video, Chris says. Yes, that is true. That is very true. All right. And we have... Sakura says this 2017 laptop is definitely not made for the models I'm coding up. I'm laughing just because of how this is packaged. I mean, obviously, I think I've now given away what this is. It's probably fairly evident what this probably is. But, I think this is the first time that someone attempted to put the item in an anti-static bag, and it didn't fit, so they cut the end and side of it and taped it on. Jesse says, I hope some clarity comes in the next few weeks. I want to stream so bad. I hope it does too, Jesse. I hope you get some clarity. Like, I kind of have an inkling of what you've been going through, and I hope you get some clarity real soon. But yeah, we have a Macintosh LC logic board because have I told you how much I like the LC and would like to get another one running? Yes, I would like to get another one running so bad I bought another LC logic board that is covered in awful gunk, and at least I, from what I could tell in the pictures, the egret chip seems to have been spared, so knock on a metal workbench. Oh, and I think it's got a 512 megabyte video sim in it. Nope, it's just a 256K video sim. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, Macintosh LC logic board. I know, nothing really to see for December. We'll set it to the side here. I'll probably work on it on Dave's stream. I think I got a cap kit for the LC floating around somewhere. I would really like to try to find this joystick, because if it's MS-DOS compatible, it could be kind of fun. But with this box is not helping at all to know what platform it's for. It's just as a vibration force joystick. And no, there is nothing on the bottom of the box other than the shipping label. And there you go. It's made in China. So there you go. That's it. There's no part numbers. There's no marketing literature. It's just a joystick in a really fancy box. But I don't know what it was, because it was an LC in it. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and let's test a few items. So I will have to go grab the Hardware Hacker says, I suppose I could try doing a DOS number video with my Power Mac 6166 DOS compatible. That would be a great video. If it says anything, I was tempted to, or at least a live stream probably, although maybe a video. I was wanting to go get a copy of the PC emulator I remember buying back in the day. Somewhere I have the license key. So, because I actually bought it. And running it on the Mac that is the closest Mac that I own to the Mac that I would have run it on, because I am not buying the Mac that I ran it on. Sorry, Performa 5215 CD. You have been deemed not worthy of me purchasing because you are too fragile and heavy. So I'll probably use my Power Mac 6100, because it's like, I think it's the closest in clock speed. Or maybe my 7500 with its original processor. But I was tempted to run that thing and see how hilarious the performance was, because it was probably absolutely spectacularly bad. I'm not going to say which emulator it was. I at least want to keep some surprises. But yeah, it was probably bad. Hardware Hacker says, I used to have a copy of Connectic's Virtual PC for my Bondi Blue iMac G3. It was not Virtual PC. I will give you that. And so that I don't have to go up and get my SCDS cable first. Alright, so I did not put this back together. I think I had it out on Dave's stream. I wanted to see what was in it exactly. Hardware-wise, it's not the best revision. Probably not the worst revision. RetroTech Chris says, I've seen at least one virtualization December video so far. I think it was soft PC. Excellent. So far, no one has said the PC emulator I used, so I'm going to still keep it a surprise so that I might get some surprise in. All right, let's see here. We've got this lovely video cable. The cable smells like PVC, so I'm sure it's like the highest quality of cables. Let's see here. All right, I think that's in. And so this is the old school power adapter, which is also very light. Yes, I will use it though because it's at least CE rated, assuming the rating mark is genuine. Whereas the other cheap adapter is has no certification marks. Harder Hackers guessing Orange PC, Oracle VirtualBox. Nope, not Orange PC. That was actually a hardware virtualization, I believe. And it was not Oracle VirtualBox. I did say the clue word was back in the day. All right. AC adapter's plugged in. Video cable up. I gotta go plug the video cable in on the other side. All right. Three, two, one. No. Huh. Okay. Probably going to have to see if we have voltage, because nothing. We have nothing. Interesting. Hi, Dave. Welcome. I'm going to have to pull the multimeter out, probably. All right. Multimeter time. This is the power adapter from Amazon. I guess I figured I would try it first because if it was bad, it has a better return policy. All right, so I believe this should be, I think this is, I don't know if it's center positive or center negative, but, ah, no, it would appear as if we have 10 volts AC. Wait a minute. 10 volts AC? Oh, wait a minute. No, that should be DC. Huh. Output DC 9 volts 1 amp. Well, it would appear as if the power adapter from Amazon is possibly putting out the wrong voltage. Output DC 9 volts 1 amp. All right, well, let's see what the other power adapter does. Because I thought the Genesis was was not DC, because it's the NES that's AC. All right, so I'm gonna plug in the other power adapter. And before I even bother, this is the eBay adapter. And the eBay power adapter is not outputting anything. All right, so the eBay power adapter is not outputting any voltage. The Amazon power adapter is outputting 9 volts AC. So it would appear as if I mean, it would appear as if I'm going to have to check what the Genesis actually uses. All right, Genesis power adapter. Here we go. Down a page. Sega Genesis power supply specs. Genesis requires 9 volts DC, center negative. Oh, it is center negative. Oh, wait. So that's the early... Hold on. That was for the initial Genesis. Genesis 2 and 3 power supplies are physically and electrically different. Okay. Model 2 and Model 3 supplied 10 volts at 850 milliamps. Center positive. All right. Well, yeah, it would appear as if both power adapters are bad. I can't test my Genesis. Well, I guess the one adapter is going to get returned, and... Well, actually, they'll probably both get returned. Okay, now if I've got a power adapter, like, set somewhere around here. If I can find it real quick. If I'm not sure where I set it, then I can maybe set up a bench supply to supply 10 volts. But I don't know where I put it. All right, well, I guess that is going to be a disappointing, well, it's a disappointing Genesis test, because all right, both power adapters are defective. Hopefully, that did not cause damage to my Genesis, because... Alright, yeah, okay. I can't test it. So I guess we're going to go more months before I manage to finally test my Sega Genesis. I guess I should just go upstairs and go grab the cable for the SNES and the N64 use the same cable. I took my SNES upstairs so I could enjoy it when I get the chance, but that has not happened yet. Alright, well... Alright, well, I hope you get the DOS game Hardware Hacker. And I'm going to go... Yeah, I cannot corroborate the test notes from the VCFE seller. Alright, so I am going to go upstairs real quick. I'm going to go grab my Super Nintendo AV cable so that we can at least see if the N64 works. And I will be back downstairs in a few minutes. I am back. I have the Nintendo AV adapter. I took the cruddy Genesis power adapters upstairs and set them in a place where I will see them tomorrow to put return requests in for both. Gupum's asking, it is from the YouTube music library. It is YouTube will probably tag it after the stream with what the song is, or I'd have to look it up. Oh, when did I leave? You were just jamming out the elevator music. You had to go upstairs and grab my Nintendo AV cable. Alright, so this is the Nintendo 64 with the power adapter I bought on eBay. Because we know everything you buy on eBay is always the highest quality. We're going to use Madden 2000 as our test game. Not because it's a great game, but because if this game console were to decide to, I don't know, say send AC voltage to the game cartridge, I'm pretty sure there's more Madden 2000 games in the world. Gupum says, I want to sample a very small portion of it for something that's perfect. Alright, so we got power. 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, I got a red LED on the console. And by golly, I just remembered how weird the NES controller is. Alright, game enhancements enabled. That is just awesome. Yeah, we got an N64. Look at that. We got the spinning NFL logo because, of course, this controller is cheap but functional. Actually, you know, I'm not much of a football person. Congratulations for being a YouTube subscriber for 2 months, Hardware Hacker. Alright, we're going to take Madden 2000 out because I bought the other day at the thrift shop Star Fox 64. It seems to be such a better game. Also, it's good that that Madden 2000 detected the expansion pack, so at least I know it works. Do a barrel roll, says Sad Mac. Oh wow, look at those 3D shapes. Press Z or R twice. Oh, I think I gotta start the game. We'll do training. Oh, look at that. We can do a barrel roll. Let's practice the basics, even though I'm already barrel rolling. Use the control stick to fly. Alright. Note that I am playing with controller lag, scalar lag, so press Z or R to move quickly. I don't see a Z. You hold A, it will charge your laser. Press A once more to shoot. Alright. Alright. Very nice game, but, oh, Z is at the bottom of the... Oh, there it is. Okay. I can't play with scalar lag. Alright, I do have one more N64 game. Although I don't know if I have it over here. Sadbeck's asking hardware hacker. So is that why the Wii buttons are like that? Alright, let me see if I've got the third game over here. Because at least it'd be nice to know that my N64 games are all working. Oh, you know, maybe I did not... Maybe I didn't bring it over to the table. Alright. Alright, let me go to where it probably is sitting. You all probably knew somehow, some way. Oh, thank you, hardware hacker, for the super sticker. Yeep. You probably all knew some way, somehow, that I probably had a Rareware game. Shaken, not stirred. Oh, that's interesting. Hardware hacker was about to guess 007. Yeah, and it's it's not. Oh, there we go. Maybe it was just taking longer than I thought to boot. GoldenEye. Man, look at those polygons for hands. um, you could obviously tell they had a limited number of polygons to work with, because Socket Wrench says, models only a brutalist architecture could love. Yeah. actually. I think it's great. So it looks like all three of my N64 games work. This N64 works. This Retrobit game controller works. If it is a bit cheap feeling. Yeah, the last... Yeah, actually, all of their polygons are kind of... Yeah, I'm not going to read that one out loud. I paused to stop. We'll, Yeah, all of the polygons are laughable. Especially the men where they took a couple polygons to make a nose. Sadmax says it has a charm to it, but in a very chunky 90s 3D graphics way. Yeah. This, folks, is like mid-90s 3D. And we loved it. Although, granted, it was like late 90s, early 2000s before I saw an N64, but hey, I think it came out in the mid-90s. Sadmax says, graphically, it's very of its era. Yes. Because I don't remember when the Voodoo graphics cards came out, because that's kind of really when 3D on PC was a thing. I think it might have just locked up. Well, we'll probably have to do some recapping or something. But anyways. Alright, well, it does at least seem to work, even if it did lock up there. Alright, the console probably needs a recap. Maybe a cleaning. Maybe there's a contact that's not making good contact. But this is supposed to be a Dawsumber stream. Anyways, I'm just glad that the N64 at least is the correct region N64. Carter Hacker says Bond thought he got spotted, so he froze his movement. Yeah. Good one. Alright, so I have an actual N64 that is the correct region. Not to necessarily spoil the problem with my other N64, so if you want to watch that live stream, just find your nearest neuralizer and do the neuralizer thing. Will Smith probably has it. But yeah, at least that's good. The N64 works about as well as I'd hoped. Probably will need a recap or cleaning or something. I'm sure I can probably fix it. Yeah. Alright. So that's Wheel of Regrets. I guess now, what time is it? Oh, it's 10:44. I guess we can start to get an OS installed on the Packard Bell. At least I can show you all what I've done to it. Alright, let me go grab the Packard Bell. Although I first have to remember where I set it, because... Oh, there it is. Yep, yeah, it's exactly where I thought I put it. Alright, let me go grab the Packard Bell. And we'll go over what I've done since the last stream with it. And we'll get DOS and Windows 3.1 installed. Or at least DOS, and maybe we'll run some benchmarks or something. So, this is... Ow! Oh. That was my shin before I rammed it into an object on the floor. R.I.P. shin. Alright, let's plug in power. Let's plug in keyboard. I'll give you a preview, or, well, let me plug it in, because I need to switch my scalar's inputs while I'm standing up, so I can reach it. So let me just go ahead and plug cables in. Alright. All right. So, I've done a few things to the Packard Bell since the stream. I'll post some photos to social media when I get a chance. But the first thing that I've done is I discovered that the optical drive just was not being detected. So I have temporarily connected this DVD drive that I repaired on a previous stream, I believe. I've also installed the 6.5 gigabyte hard drive into the computer. And probably the biggest thing I've done is I will remove it and then put it back. But I have installed a Pentium overdrive processor. It was in one of my other Pentium computers. And I decided that I would put it in this one. Because, well, this computer is not exactly original. So I thought it would be a nice speed boost for this Packard Bell. I've also installed an extra megabyte of video RAM. It's in a spot in the system where I can't really show you, but we'll be able to test it once we get Windows installed and some video card drivers so I can set the resolution up. I do have a GoTech for installing operating systems at this immediate moment, so let's go ahead and power up. Find the power button, there it is. I do have the stock sound card. Oh, I've also updated the BIOS. Because it was running like 1.00.03 or I think it was 1.00.03. It's now at 1.00.07, which I believe is the latest Packard Bell BIOS for this board. And luckily I had a copy of it stashed away because the site that I got it from no longer has it on it, and a bunch of the other sites that claim to have the file don't. So, it's a Pentium 200 MMX now, but someone had upgraded it to a Pentium 133. This originally was a Pentium 75. I found the specs. Let me pull up the original specs. Here we go. Luckily, there's still some sites that have these specs cached, because there was like a Packard Bell wiki or something that someone had, and hold on, there we go. Trying to make it so I can share it and you can read it. Alright, so these, I believe, were the original specs, given the age of the system. So the Packmate 3987 CD was released in early 95. It used the 4x4 V4 case. I believe that 4x4 V4 refers to a number of expansion slots and like number of drives, I think, or something like that. Yep, we got the hard drive format number, but I do not have the system credentials for this. That the hard drive that was in here did not they did not retain the system credentials. I think they plugged the hard drive that was in here just came straight from another system. I'm not going to run a restore on this computer though, because I don't have the original credentials. It doesn't have the original processor. It doesn't have the original hard drive. And it's not going to have the original CD-ROM drive because the original CD-ROM drive won't detect. But anyways, I was just going to install the operating system fresh for now and deal with things later if I can find or have created credentials for the system that would be believable. But anyways, this was a Pentium 75 with 0 level 2 cache because that's how generous Packard Bell was back in the day. Yeah, Chris says, yeah, I feel like those CD drives had a 100% failure rate on Pentium Packard Bells. Yeah, actually, fun story. It's on my blog if you ever want to reread it, but the summary of the fun story is, so our first brand new family computer was a Packard Bell, it was a Pentium 75 or Pentium, I think it was a Pentium 75. Tower case, had one of the 4-speed CD-ROMs, the one with the bumpy, the bumpy front, that kind of matched the bumps on the case. Anyways, bought it from Sears along with the Packard Bell monitor. I forget what printer we bought with it, and the extended warranty, because this was an investment. So we have it for a month or two, and Dad accidentally bumped the tray for the CD-ROM drive, breaking it. We thought, no problem, the extended warranty covers accidental damage. So we call up the extended warranty company. They confirm, yep, accidental damage is covered. We will send a technician out to your house to replace the CD-ROM drive. And the appointment comes and goes, and no one shows up. So Dad calls them back. They're like, we're sorry about that. We'll schedule a new date, and the tech will be out this time. Appointment comes and goes. No one shows up. I think we gave them one last chance. Appointment came and went. No one showed up. So we packed that Packard Bell back in the boxes, hauled the entire thing back to Sears, drug it into customer service. Clerk says, why are you returning it? And Dad points to the sign on the wall that was behind the customer service desk. And he said, that's why. The extended warranty company is not honoring their agreement. I think they had to get a manager to come out. Manager took one look at the computer, turns back and looks at the sign and is like, process the return. And now, for those of y'all not familiar with Sears, or maybe you haven't been in a Sears in a while, you're probably wondering what in the world that sign said. And it was the old Sears guarantee. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. And I can tell you that, at least in this case, Sears honored it because we were otherwise outside the return period. But their extended warranty did not honor the agreement, and we got the return processed. And then we went to Circuit City, bought a Hewlett Packard, and Don't think we ever had a problem with it. Yeah, Harder Hacker says Sears from back when they were a good store. Yes. Yeah, Sadback says certainly haven't been in one in a while. Actually, I was technically in the footprint of a former Sears store the other day. It's now a Home Depot. The original store was torn down to build the Home Depot. But I'm pretty sure I did walk over some of where the Sears store used to be. It's so much nicer as a Home Depot. Anyways, here's the specs. We got the Cirrus Logic video. I think it's just the CLGD 5434. Or actually, it might just be the 5430 in this one. So not the fastest Cirrus Logic in the world. Standard Packard Bell sound card, which means it's one of those modem sound card combos, but it does have a real OPL3 chip on it. 4-speed NEC CD-ROM drive that will not detect now, so yep, 100% failure rate. With the sample size I have, Chris, you're right. As Chris says, if you want to go to a Sears, better hurry. Yeah. Yep, let's see here. It would have shipped with Windows 3.11, Packard Bell Navigator 2.1. Hard drive format number for this computer would have been 555566, which I believe, that format number looks very similar. Anyways, it is the Packard Bell 520 motherboard, which has the nickname of Hillary. And it would have come with the 1994-95 software bundle. Actually, I am curious. I think I have a, is it an 824 CDT, I think? Oh, maybe that's not it. no. Oh, maybe because I got the wrong model number. It's easy to do. You're probably like, are you just typing in all the various model things the model number could be? Yeah. Nope, they don't have that one. All right, never mind. I was thinking that format number for this one looked very similar to another one that I have, but... And it could be. But anyways, yeah, the format number tells the restore CD what software to actually restore. So that is kind of an important thing to know. That also would help you find the restore CD. I'd have to go back and look at the notes to describe how you turn that format number into what restore CD you need. But that is part of the system credentials that's stored in an unused area of track 0 on the hard drive. So I don't have the credentials on this hard drive, but that's okay. We're just going to install oh yeah, why don't we do this? Chris says, wait, a Packard Bell 520? I thought those were socket 4. Well, this one's definitely socket 5. Maybe that's the wrong motherboard name. I do know this is a Hillary board. If you look at the nicknames of all the motherboards, I know this one's a Hillary. Gupum says, my local Best Buy used to be a Papa Gino's Pizza. It's in the world's most boring mall. There's a Best Buy, a Target, a baby clothes store, a vape store, and the registry of motor vehicles. Yeah, that sounds like a very boring mall. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. So I think this is a yeah, let's see here. So we want to delete this partition because we're about to do okay. Now I want to create a partition, create a primary DOS partition. Carter Hacker says there used to be a Sears at the Burlington Mall. Oh, maybe oh, that wiki could have a typo. No, we do not want to use maximum size because I'm going to create the partition and then I'm going to attempt to format it with DOS 6. It may not work. All right, so I want to set this hard drive up ultimately to have like 4 operating systems on it. Tonight we're going to probably get DOS 622 installed. So DOS 622 with Windows 3.1, that's the first operating system. Second one's going to be Windows 95 Retail. You're probably thinking, but Justin, isn't the OSR2 better? Well, yeah, but when I name the third operating system, you'll realize what I'm doing. The third operating system is Windows 98 Second Edition. I just want to throw Windows 95 Retail on it, so I have a system that has the original Windows 95. The system does not have USB on it, so yeah. And then I want to leave enough space so that I could install Linux on it as a 4th operating system, but that is not a DOScember activity. Sakarin says, and here I was hoping for Ecom Station. Kapam says, I bought a long screwdriver that I used to fix my headlights in the parking lot of that Burlington Mall Sears once. Yeah, Sadmax says, I was going to guess the third was Windows 98 Second Edition, so yeah. So I think for my DOS 622 install, I was thinking of giving it about well, that's not exactly what I was thinking. We'll go more 700. I was trying to go for about what the original hard drive would have been in size. It was a 722 megabyte hard drive, which means that it really was probably going to be closer to like 690-ish to 700 formatted. So maybe I should have just done this 700. All right, that's close enough. I'm not going to split hairs at this point. All right, so we do need to set that partition active. And let's see, escape. All right, so I think now. There we go. Oh, Soccer Wrench says that's what happened to OS2. Cut Bomb says, I want Arca OS, but I don't want to pay for it. Yeah, it costs money. Plus, Arca OS isn't vintage. So no, I wasn't going to install OS2 on this computer because um oh, Okay. Apparently I gotta, oh. I should have not used the Windows 95F disk for this activity. No. Um, do 700. There we go. That's good. Let's see. 2, 1. Yeah, SadMax says, I'm not even sure OS2 wanted to run on IBM hardware. Yeah, I've got OS2 installed on an IBM. It's the version of OS2 that would have shipped on that IBM. And it fails the Canyon.MIDI test. It's laughable. It's actually horrible. Obviously, OS2 was not made for multimedia, but IBM would probably beg to differ. Alright, so if I... There we go. Which is kind of why I didn't want to install OS2 on this computer, because I'm not really sure there were any games made for OS2. And I don't know what else I would do with OS2. So we'll get DOS installed on this. I guess we'll get Windows installed on it. And we'll go from there. I was looking to see if I had a CD that had DOS bench on it, so that I don't have to pull the hard drive out. Chris says, OS2 had its place in history. Yes, it did. And then Chris continues, and I would rather leave it there. Yes, I think I will leave OS2 on that one IBM. That, and actually the IBM that I have OS2 on is the one that this overdrive processor was in. I'm going to put the original Pentium back in that IBM. Gutbump says OS2 is fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to put the original processor back in that IBM because it's like... It's an IBM. I may try to find a slightly better sound card for it, but Retrotech Chris says IBM's greatest hits: DOS 4.01, OS2. Yeah. Well, and I guess they did give us the IBM 5150. Fortunately, Compaq and others ignored the no copying permitted warning on the motherboard. I mean, technically they didn't copy it, they cloned it. So I guess they did listen. This looks familiar. Alright. So when I received this computer, it had 72 megabytes of RAM installed. I replaced the original 4 megabyte sims that were fast page with two 8 megabyte EDO sims so that all the memory is EDO. So that's why we have 80 megabytes. But I think I did that on my stream last week. Because luckily I had a bunch of 8 megabyte EDO sims. Since there is no level 2 cache on this computer, I figured I would at least give it every other benefit I could. So, overdraft processor and EDO RAM. Alright, we have MS-DOS installed. So for anyone wondering, there we go, MS-DOS version 6.22. And 592K free conventional memory. So, I think that's how much memory you get on a stock DOS 622 system. So now, I think we will go ahead and Windows. All right. There we go. Oh, I already run mem test. Oh no, we're gonna install Windows. Windows for work groups. Alright, I do like to do a custom setup. Alright, at the moment, we're going to leave these settings default. Because I don't have the Cirrus Logic drivers handy at the moment. But we will install the Cirrus Logic drivers at some point so that so we can have more than like, whatever, 16 colors or whatever the default is. I mean, I do have a couple games that need Windows 3.1, and quite honestly, I think Windows 3.1 is fair for DOSember because Windows 3.1 is just a presentation manager, basically. It is not an operating system. Chris says there's a new Windows 3.1x driver that someone wrote that is pretty cool, but it's still beta. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll go find the actual old driver. All right, we're about to boot into Windows. All right. All right, I am going to be choosy about Windows components. I don't need to set up printers. Yeah, we'll go. I'll let it install what's on the. All right, so accessories. Looks like it's got all the accessories selected. Games, got them all selected. Screensavers, all right, got them all selected. And wallpapers, it's got them all selected. All right, that's fine. I forget. The default for Windows 3.1, I think, is everything's installed. Oh, actually, no, that's weird. So if you want to install everything, you uncheck the box. But if you leave the box checked, everything is selected by default. So, whereas Windows 95, everything is not selected by default. And some of the good stuff, you have to actually go select it. It also always amazed me, at least back in the day, of how, with only going through Disk 1 and part of Disk 2, you could get this graphical part of Windows setup. Although I guess in reality, Windows... Well, I guess it was simpler than I might have realized. Although then again, it's not that Windows setup is using that much of the Windows GUI. Because in fact, it looks like the box where it would be showing us information is strangely blank. Chris says, yeah, all the apps eat up all the space. Sad Mac says, Microsoft, making baffling to end-user decisions since at least the early 90s. Chris says, several compact BIOSes use Windows 3.1 as well. Yes, they do. And I have a few of the compacts that do that. They are neat. Yeah, the compact BIOS that runs Windows blows the Win BIOS out of the water. If you thought the motherboards that had Win BIOS were cool, yeah, Compact's BIOS that runs Windows is really cool because it actually looks like a graphical GUI. Because Win BIOS was just using text characters. Yeah, I think it was the Compact LTE 5000 series. Ted Max says, at least it's not Phoenix Hyperspace, I guess. Oh, yeah, yeah. So on the LTE Elite series, it's on a diagnostic partition. But on LTE 5000 series, I thought it was actually in the ROM. Or at least enough of it's in the ROM that you don't have to have the diagnostic partition to run it. Oh, not on the 5000? Oh. I thought the 5000 had the... Oh, you're right, you're right. The 5000 did not... Yeah, now I remember what the setup looks like on the 5000. It looks boring, it's text. Chris says the 5000 is just ROM, no Windows though. That's me thinking the 5000 series is better than the LTE Elites in all ways. Nope. The BIOS is not as nice. Yeah, I suspect the compact LTE Elite Windows BIOS setup that's in the diagnostic partition. Oh, Chris says the LTE 5000 BIOS does let you use a mouse. Okay, that's probably what I was thinking. I think the LTE Elite, I think it's a stripped down install of Windows. It doesn't have the Windows apps, but it has enough of Windows that it can draw a GUI. I think Windows did, or Microsoft did have a, they had some fancy name for it. Before Windows CE, they had like Windows PE or something like that, like portable environment. Which I think was the precursor to Windows CE. Let's see here. Network drivers. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. There is an Etherlink 3 in this computer. I completely forgot about it, but I do see the card is in there. So let me add a protocol. Oh, no, let me not add a protocol. Right, I guess we'll do that. I don't need to do file sharing. Yeah, Chris knew exactly what I was going for. I need to I'll need to install TCP32B. All right. Username. That's just Justin. Workgroup, of course, is that. And computer name is PM3987CD. There we go. Here we go. It has been quite a while since I've actually been asked for disk 7. Harder Hacker said, add the C3PO protocol. Yep. Warning, dad joke detected. Han Solo says, I've got a bad feeling about this. Chris says, Microsoft held out hope that NetBEUI would win and had to tolerate IPX SPX. Yeah. Oh, and it's been a really long time since I've been asked for Disk 8. It's been a long while since I've actually set up Windows 3.1.1 for work groups with a network card in the computer. But yeah, I forgot there was an Etherlink 3 in this computer when I got it, so All right. All right, there we go. Nope, we will skip the tutorial. And we will restart the computer. Jack says, yep, that's Windows 3.1. So, welcome, Jack. Oh, okay, that's not too bad of a hit for conventional memory. We'll make sure Windows works. We can bypass that right there. All right, look at that. We have Windows 3.1. Now, we need to get some video card drivers and some sound card drivers installed. And some CD-ROM drivers. I would have to attach a mouse to play Minesweeper. Chris says, as I recall, Windows for Workgroups 3.11 was never popular, but it's my favorite of the Windows, the 3.x series. Oh yeah, Jack, there were video card drivers for Windows 3.1. In fact, we go to Control Panel to... Oh, no, not Control Panel. Windows Setup. Options. Change system settings. Whoop. Let's actually install the, but yeah, there's video drivers. Um, I know that right now I've got the NetBUI and the IPX SPX networks. That's what's built in. I'll have to install TCP later. All right, let me go find driver disks. This Packard Bell sound card probably going to be... I don't know. They should be fairly easy to find. Let me just go to DOS days. Let's see. So this Packard Bell sound card is going to be some Aztec sound card. They inevitably all are. And let's see. Graphics cards. This is going to be the... let me get my cell phone flashlight so I can read the... I believe it is the 5430. I'm not sure that actually matters because I want to say that the 5430 and the 5434 may have the same driver installer. Ultimately, all right. So it looks like on DOS days, they have the 54.3x Windows drivers, unknown version, And then all right, well, let me download. And then they got the version 1.34 for the 5429 and 5430. So let's. All right. I'll go ahead and grab both of them. And we'll see which one might be better. Now, for this Aztec sound card, it is probably the. All right, it's not the Washington 16. No, it's not that one. It's the Pro 16. No, it's not that one. Nova 16 Extra. Nope, that's not it. 4231A. All right. Hold on, I'm trying to find the. Let me just search the DOS days for the. Because it looks like they do have the FCC ID for all of these. So it is either a 1 or an I, 38-MM SN 834. All right. All right. Let's see if that finds it on DOS days. It should. All right. Oh, here we go. The RetroWeb has it. It is the Sound Galaxy Washington 16. Okay. Also known as the Packard Bell Sound 144 AMSP. And the Aztec part number that only a part number creator could love. All right. That's lovely. AD 1845. Windows. Oh, there must be an analog devices chip on this board that's underneath one of the Packard Bell stickers. Sneaky, sneaky. All right. Let me go back to DOS days here real quick. Um all right. Just trying to find the best drivers here. Let's go to Bogons. library. It's the one other place I can think of going. All right, I'll be back in the chat in a moment. All right, sound card, sound devices, Aztec. All right, I guess. Okay. All right, let's see here. I've downloaded some drivers. I'm hoping at least some of them are correct. Also, I think the sound card had a sticker on it at some point because I cannot uh I can't read the I can't read the side of the card to know what ports what. Oh, hold on. I think I got the wrong drivers off the RetroWeb. I think I grabbed the drivers for the plus version of the card by accident. So let me go find the just the plain Washington 16 card because I don't think this is the plus card. Oh, maybe I did grab the right ones. Okay. All right. So line out is the one closest to the game port. All right. I'll have to plug my speakers in, but all right. Let's see what I got for sound drivers. Oh, fun. It's not a disk image, which is going to make it it's difficult to All right, I'll have to create a disk image file for the sound drivers, I guess. All right, file, new image, inject a folder. All right, let's see here. I'll be back in the chat in a moment, trying to get the drivers to where I can get them on this computer without having to pull the hard drive. Because I did something silly and I screwed the hard drive in. All right, that's good. So, all right, so I got an image file for the sound drivers. Of course, I think it's only the DOS drivers. So, all right. Well, that's something. All right, let me see about graphics drivers. Okay. Oh, okay. Those graphic drivers are inconvenient. Let's see here. These drivers are. All right, I guess we'll use these ones. Let me create a disk image of these drivers, and then we will install drivers. There we go. Guess those will work. Okay, got some driver disks. We'll see how well they work. Hi, Thomas. Welcome. Yeah, I had to get some drivers. All right. Okay, so Okay. Okay, there we go. So we'll start with probably the graphics drivers. Okay. Was I supposed to install these? Oh, I guess I. Well, I guess that would probably be. Of course. Gotta install it from Windows. Well, before I can run anything fancy, I gotta actually get some better drivers installed. Ah, there we go. Cirrus Logic Alpine installation. This looks so fancy. This is on Rust. I have a 6.5 gigabyte hard drive installed. Oh, that's cool. That's a good sign. Other than I think we're actually at okay, that's gonna be a flickery mess probably, but Oh, actually, my scaler is handling that slightly better than my multi-sync monitor. All right, let's fix that. Yeah, 16-bit color at 1024 by 768, except for the fact that it's got to use interlaced. That's the only drawback. I should be at millions of colors now. I guess what I'm going to do... I think that's the best resolution right there. 800 by 600 at 16-bit color, because at least it'll run at 60 hertz. There we go. That's better. All right, so we got video drivers. So if we go to Windows Setup now, yep. We're using the 1.1 version 1.1 Windows 3.1x drivers. It's probably a good enough version. All right, so I don't think the sound drivers I found are for... I don't think they're for Windows, unfortunately. All right. Let's see here. Sound card or CD drivers, CD-ROM, CD-ROM. Insert disk 1 and change the path to A setup or B setup. I don't think this is disk 1. Ah, okay. I see what I did wrong when I created disks. Okay. Okay. Why? Jack's asking, why does it keep wanting to change to 87 hertz? Probably because the video chip doesn't support 60 hertz at 1024 by 768. That is probably that is the most likely explanation. I think probably something a newer video chip could do, but not this one, so, oh well. Alright. I think what I did wrong when I created the disks is I created a disk based off of there was a folder named DOS, which I think was just simply someone saving off the DOS software after installation. What I really needed to do was create disk images from a set of folders called disk 1 and disk 2. So, all right, let me create 2 disk images here real quick. This is one reason why I prefer, when archiving driver disks, to at least why I like having a disk image option, so that I can just create the disks. I don't have to try to recreate what the vendor did. All right, so this is going to be Aztec Washington 16 disk 1. And what threw me as to why I didn't realize that that I needed to create an image from the correct thing was the very first thing in the disk 1 is a folder called Windows 95. So I thought it might actually have been the Windows 95 drivers, but I think it's both. So let me create this real quick. I would at least like to get sound working. Disks, disk 2, there we go. All right. See. All right. I've got disk images created. All right. Let me put them on my thumb drive and plug in my speakers. Because I'm not using real floppy disks, because if any of you all saw a recent stream where I formatted a box of disks that I had bought from eBay, one disk was good out of the whole box. So I'm kind of low on real disks. All right. I have my speakers plugged in. I don't know if they're turned on, but they're at least plugged in. All right. Let me read the README real quick for installing the drivers. Oh, it's the same README that I was reading earlier. All right, so installation on Windows 3.1. All right. Should just be... Yep. Okay, I think that's all we got to do here. Hopefully this will install the DOS drivers too. But that's what the instructions say to do. A setup. Yeah, the dreaded file manager. There we go. I think the third option will make it really easy for me to install this, but it's midnight, so let's just use English. Yes, I would like to proceed in English. It is midnight. Choose continue if you wish to run setup. Yes, I really do want to run setup. Wave address, yeah, that looks right. Wave IRQ, playback DMA, capture DMA, 220, 330, to... I think that's... No, I do not want to install the CD-ROM driver, because that's for the sound cards interface, and our CD-ROM is on the motherboard. Thomas says reboot twice for that option. Yeah. All right. Hopefully Ah, there we go. Looks like we are setting up. Let me make sure my speakers are turned on. Probably turned up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Oh, interesting. This card has jumpers on it, but I think it's for the modem, not the sound. I think the sound is software configured. Changes have been made to config.sys. Do I want to read me now? No. Yes. I want to restart Windows. Jack says, oops. Yes, I do believe we have an IRQ or a DMA conflict. In fact, I don't think Windows is going to shut down normally. Yes, I have a feeling. Yep. We were locked up. That is probably most certainly a resource conflict, probably with the network card. If I had to guess, I'm going to pull the network card out because I'm probably going to need to run the Etherlink setup. Although the interesting thing is, the network card was in this computer, so theoretically it was set not to conflict with the sound card, but on the other hand, the sound card isn't set by jumpers, so I don't know how it was soft configured. For all I know, it was configured differently than the default settings. Or maybe just wasn't used at all. All right, so I have removed the network driver, or the network card. Jack says, resource conflicts were such a fun part of old Windows. Yes, fun. Oh. Yes, I forgot to remove the... Oh, the Cirrus Logic CL mode program. That's nice. Press almost any key to continue. Oh, that's not annoying at all. I'm... Alright, hopefully it's... There we go. It was conflicting with the network card. Left Studio. Is that anything like... Why does that look like the Voyatra thingy. Oh, whoop. All right, I got to do this. All right. It passes the Canyon.MIDI test. And, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it is past midnight. My feet are getting cold. So, with that, yes. With that, we have learned that the network card that was included is configured poorly for this system. I'll have to run the Etherlink 3 config utility. No biggie. In fact, I probably have it on my flash floppy. But anyways, so we'll have to reconfigure the IRQ and DMA, or IRQ for this card to something less conflicty, like maybe IRQ 10. And, yeah. So with that, we got sound. We got the sound card drivers. We got the video card drivers. And we got DOS 622, Windows 3.1. So, yeah, that's a good ways to a working system. So, with that, let's see here. Next week, I will be streaming on Monday and Thursday. So, Monday, we will be looking at the beige lunchbox PC that I recently bought from eBay. And then next Thursday, we'll see how far we get on the lunchbox PC. Maybe we might pull the IBM PC out. So anyways, with that, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to know when I go live next. Share my channel with a friend. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon, but I appreciate all 900 of you. Yes, happy December, Hardware Hacker says. Yep, happy December. And I hope to see you all here next time. Hopefully, by the time the next stream comes around, I will have moved the obstacle behind me so that I can bring out my other... oh, that's right. My other space heater wasn't working right at the end of the winter. I will probably be going to the hardware store this weekend to buy a new space heater to put behind me, but I need to move something so that I have room for it. So I will look forward to that, because my little foot heater only helps so much. It helps my feet, but not the rest of me, and it's getting cold outside. So, yes, in the meantime, stay warm. Yes. Anyways, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you here next time. Don't let those IRQ conflicts make you think you've won something when in reality, Windows is just going to go off dinging forever until you stop it. So with that, let me make sure I got my... Yep, okay. So with that, take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time, and until then, take care!